Okay, I'm Janet Mitchell from the Woodside Creamery. Thank you for coming today. Did anybody come yesterday for National Ice Cream Day? You did? No? So it was very hot, and there were a lot of people here, so the line for ice cream is very long. But those who were here got to see our cows getting milked, and they got to see where we make all the ice cream. And they got to talk to people about conservation and composting, things that we do here. So it was a lot of fun, but it was a very hot day. So today is very hot, so we're going to get going. I'm going to turn this over to the Hockessin Book Shelf because this is their story time. So here's Lisa.
Hey guys, can everybody hear me? Yes. Welcome to Story Time Under the Big Tree. You know what I forgot to say last week? I don't know who was here. Who was here last week for Story Time? A lot of you? How many people is it the first time they've ever come to Story Time? Wow, well, welcome. How about, has anybody ever met our author and illustrator Timothy Young before? Who has met him? We have a bunch of newbies. A whole new audience of Timothy Young fans. So what I realized a couple weeks ago is that this is our 10-year anniversary of Storytime Under the Big Tree. So it's going to be a celebration all summer. Anyway, who knows how we start Storytime? Anybody? Do you know? Have you been here before? No, then you don't know. Who knows how we start Storytime? Anybody? Anybody? Do you know? You, in the back. You want to come help me? Do you know? Come help? He doesn't want to. He's being shy. Do you know how we start story time? You, buddy? You've been here? Come on up and help me. So we start story time with a very special chant. We do it with the Cream Chant. And I need help. What's your name? Aiden. This is Aiden. He's going to help me, but I need all of you to help me too. So on 3, we're going to do the I scream, you scream chant. And I need lots of energy, even though it's super hot. Okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3.
I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
How do you think they did? Was it loud enough? What do you think? He didn't hear a lot of people. I didn't either. Let's try it again. Ready? On 3 again. 1, 2, 3.
I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream.
I think that was better. You think so? Thank you for your help. All right, so it is my great pleasure to introduce you all to Timothy Young, who is a local-ish author and illustrator. He's from Maryland. And we've had him probably almost every year except for stupid COVID years. And he's going to be here, and he's going to read some of his stories and maybe draw some pictures. But I did something different last week. I asked some questions of our readers. So I'm going to ask Timothy a couple questions. So, I know you've done a lot of things in your life. Tell me, can you tell everybody when you knew you wanted to be a writer?
When did I want to be a writer? Well, I thought, I loved picture books. I loved reading all kinds of books as a kid. But I never thought I was going to be an author. I could do art. I was really good at art. But I couldn't write. I had a terrible time writing as a kid. I had all kinds of ideas, and I loved reading, but writing did not come easy for me. So I always thought that somebody would come along who was a writer and say, well, that's a good idea. I'll write the story and you draw the pictures. And that guy never showed up. So I was in my 40s when I started to think, well, if no one else is going to write for me, I better figure out how to do it. And so I sat down and I started writing. And now I have 15 published books.
So, how many books? 15 books. That's a lot of books, don't you think?
And, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll save it for a little bit.
Okay. Got no comment?
Something like that. Yeah.
So let me ask you one more question.
All right.
Because we're here at Woodside Creamery. Can you tell us what your favorite flavor of ice cream is?
Oh my gosh, there are so many. I like rum raisin. I like peach. I like coffee. I like pistachio. I don't know if I have a favorite because it is so hard to choose. But oftentimes just a really good plain vanilla is just especially like a vanilla bean is really, really good. So.
All right, I'm going to turn it over.
All right.
Everybody, eyes and ears open for Timothy Young.
Hi guys, how is everyone today? I hope I'm not too loud through the speakers because I tend to talk loud naturally, and so people are going to be hearing me in fields way back there. So I'm really excited to be back here under the big tree because it's been way too long since I've gotten to do this. I've really enjoyed coming here and supporting the Hockessin Book Shelf and the Woodside Creamery, who make so many great flavors of ice cream. So I'm gonna, since it's my first time back in a while, I'm just gonna read a bunch of books that I've read in the past, and then maybe talk about a few new ones. And do you guys like to draw?
Yes.
You do? Great, because we're gonna do some drawings together too that I think you're gonna like that too. So let's get started with this one. This one's called Do Not Open the Box. And I'll stand up here and I'll hold the pictures up, so I hope that you guys can see them. And now when I read this book, I like to start with this book. When I read this book, I have to read the dedication in this book. Do you guys know what a dedication in a book is? Anyone know what the dedication in a book is? What's the dedication?
Like when somebody meets the author, they dedicate it to them and they put their name in the book.
Yeah, the author puts somebody's name in the book to thank them for something. So this is what I wrote in this book. It says, "For my brother Jody and my sister Tracy, who almost never played mean tricks on me." Think about that. Wow, that's a big box. I wonder what's inside. It says do not open, so I shouldn't touch it. It's probably full of papers that Dad needs for work. Maybe Mom made cookies. A box this big could hold tons and tons of cookies. Is my birthday coming? It could be that robot I've been asking for. What's that noise? Maybe it's a puppy, or a bunch of puppies. I should open the box right now and let them all out. Wait, what if it's not puppies? What if it's full of snakes? I wouldn't be surprised if Annie left a box full of snakes for me to open. Heck, I wouldn't put it past Annie to put a wolverine, or a tiger, or even a bunch of vampire bats in this box. That's just the crazy kind of thing my sister would do. There just might be some kind of slimy monster hiding in this box. I bet it could even be the entrance to another dimension. And it'll pull me inside if I take the top off the box. And even if I didn't get pulled into the box, I'd have a hard time getting everything else back in. Well, it does say do not open, so I guess I'd better just leave it alone. Huh, I can't believe Benny didn't open the box. Who was in that box? Who's in that box there? That's his sister Annie hiding in the box. And here's the empty box at the end. Thank you. So, keep reading, or you want to do the prize thing? I forget how you do it. Oh, okay, cool. Nice. All right, we'll do it a little different. So I have a bunch of books. As I said before, I have 15 books. This one here, it's called The Happy Little Penguin. Can anyone see the title there, The Happy Little Penguin? Except that somebody crossed out the word happy and wrote angry, and crossed out the word penguin and wrote puffin. So now it's The Angry Little Puffin. So let's see how that happened. So here he is. He's, never mind that. He doesn't look very angry, does he? Not yet. What's that? Some kind of penguin? Aw, it's a sweet little penguin. Hey, what a funny looking penguin. That's a kooky little penguin. If one more person calls me a penguin, I don't know what I'll do. Look at the cute little penguin. That's it. I can't take it anymore. All day long it's, look at the funny little penguin, and what a silly looking penguin. I am not a penguin. I am a puffin. Puffin. Puffins are definitely not penguins. It's bad enough I have to live in the penguin house at the zoo and watch their lame brain antics. People don't even read the sign on my window. They just assume I'm a penguin. I mean, there are so many differences. For one thing, penguins live in the Antarctic, near the very bottom of the earth. Puffins live on top of the world. We're polar opposites. It makes me so mad that I could jump off a cliff. But do you know what would happen if I did? I'd fly away. That's right, puffins can fly. Not like those dopey penguins who seem to have forgotten how. Why bother being a bird if you can't even fly? I don't know why penguins get all the attention. Toys, movies, television, even comic books. It's penguins, penguins, penguins. Come on, the puffin would be the coolest guy in any comic book. It's not fair. For once, I'd like someone to come up and say, look, it's a puffin. Look, Daddy, it's a puffin. Puffins are my favorite. They're really neat, and they live in the Arctic Ocean. This one's an Atlantic puffin. He's also called a common puffin. I think he's called a special puffin. Look how cute he is. There are other kinds too, like the tufted puffin and the horned puffin, but I like this one best. He eats fish and squid and sand eels, and he makes his home in cliffs in the ocean. And you know what, Daddy? He can fly, unlike those penguins over there. He's so sweet. I wish I could have a pet puffin. Wow. You sure know a lot about puffins. Let's go see if they have a toy puffin at the gift store. Can everyone say, aw? Hey, what's that? It's some kind of penguin, I guess. Well, he sure is a happy little penguin. Thank you. So do you guys like my books?
Yes.
Everybody likes picture books, right? Nobody would ever say anything like, I hate picture books, would they? No, that'd be a terrible, horrible, awful thing to say, except that's the title of this book, I Hate Picture Books. So, let's find out why that happened. So many of these things. I hate picture books. I never want to read another picture book, so I'm getting rid of all of them, because all they do is get me in trouble. Once Mom read me this book about that kid and his purple crayon, but when I drew on the wall, I got sent to bed without dinner. I was very angry, so I wished my room would turn into a forest and a boat would come to take me away. The next morning, I woke up to find nothing. No forest, no boat, no wild things anywhere. Nothing but my stupid room and my stupid picture books. I started to think I didn't like picture books at all. I mean, they're really dumb, because toy bears don't talk or walk around, and cows can't type, and caterpillars don't eat salami or Swiss cheese, and there's no possible way for a pigeon to even imagine it could drive a bus. Then things really got bad. One day I was looking for a snack, and I found green ham in the refrigerator. It looked disgusting, but that book told me I should try it. Do you know what happened next? I threw up all over the kitchen. I'd like to see them put that in a picture book. But the worst thing, there's this book about this baby bird. It can't find its mother, and it looks everywhere. None of these animals can help the baby bird. Do you know what this book made me do? It made me cry. Like when you think the snort is going to eat the bird, but it puts it back in its nest. I love that. I mean, I hate that book. It was the first one I threw away. Wait, I do love that book. I gotta find that book. I know it's in here somewhere. Wait, I can't get rid of this one. Or this one. Or this one either. I can't throw away any of these. I mean, I love this book with the flying snowman. And the one with the great big stack of turtles. And this one with the mouse who wants a cookie. Or this one where the bears hunt for honey. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't throw away all these books. Wait, here's the book I was looking for. I do love this book. What? So I changed my mind. I like picture books, okay? Now go away. I just want to read my picture books. Here he is reading all his books. Thank you. So I'm gonna read another one in a bit, but first I want to talk about a couple things. I have two new books. They're not really books to read aloud, not at least in a group like this. I'm very proud of them though. This one's called Space Aliens 1, 2, 3. It's intergalactic counting by color, and it's kind of a sequel to my book. I'm going to outer space, but it's a counting and color book for very young readers. And then this one I'm especially proud of. I was writing another Puffin book. I have two other Puffin books. After I wrote The Angry Little Puffin, I wrote If You Give the Puffin a Muffin. I was thinking of a third book about the Puffin that would be Puffin's book of uncommon animals that don't get their own picture books. But it kind of morphed into a book that just tells about unusual animals. It's the ABCs of uncommon animals. I've always loved knowing about animals that not a lot of people know about. So like B is for binturong. Anyone ever hear of a binturong before? No, right, exactly. So you have to, you have? Excellent. So binturongs are also called bear cats. They live in like India and that area. No, well now you've learned something. So I've taught you something. So, but they're not bears, they're not cats. They're kind of like big mongooses. C is for coatimundi and capybara. Does anyone know what a coatimundi is? Do you know? You know a capybara. How about a coatimundi? Anyone? All right, we'll learn more about coatimundis and capybaras in a few minutes. So a lot of different animals. H is for hyrax. Look at this cute little guy. He's a hyrax. You know what his closest relative is? An elephant. He's like a tiny little elephant. He's got similar toes to elephants. So I was very proud of this book, and when I finished it, I thought, you know what, I'd like to do something with this book. So I'm donating all of my royalties to this book to a group called the Wildlife Conservation Network. So every time somebody buys a book, some of that money goes to this group that saves endangered species all over the planet. So that's one of my other books. So I mentioned drawing. You guys said you like to draw, right? So I love to draw. I draw all the time. But when you guys draw, do you always know what you're going to draw?
Yeah, not always.
You do? Not always? But that's what I'm like. I don't always know what I'm going to draw. I draw all the time. Right. Some days you do, some days you don't.
Sometimes I just go in to draw something, but when I make a mistake, I just make it into something else.
Well, that's a great thing to do. If you make a mistake, you make it into something else. That's the perfect artist answer. You're going to be an artist someday. So like I said, I don't always know what to draw. I get out my paper, I get out my pencil. Today I got a board and some markers, and I think, well, what should I draw today? What should I draw? What should I draw? I don't know what to draw. I don't know what to draw. I don't know what to draw. And I do a big scribble. And that's just a mess, right? I mean,
Find it.
I can make it into a what?
A puzzle.
a fungus that. Oh, okay. Well, here's what I usually do, is I look at it and I think, well, maybe I can make it into something else. Because that looks like a really big eye. And that looks like another big eye. And there's a beak right there. And there's one ear. And we'll give another ear over here. And there's a wing. And they're give him another wing over here. And some feet. And now I have an owl. And the owl was just hiding in my scribble the whole time. And I just had to find him and bring him out. Isn't that kind of neat? So let's think about the owl. We can always draw him again later. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do another scribble. Because you know what's neat about scribbles is anyone can scribble. And you don't even have to look at what you're doing. You just have to move your hand around. And then once you look at it, what's that? A circle, yeah. So now the neat thing about scribbles is you can look at it one way. You can say, well, you know, maybe I see something, maybe I don't. You can always turn it that way. You can turn it that way. I'm going to turn it back this way and make a couple of wheels. And there's a shape there. And it's like a van or a school bus. It could be a school bus. There you go. So there was a school bus in that scribble, and I just had to find it. So, all right, let's say goodbye to the school bus. And now what I like to do is I like to find somebody in the audience and say, would you please scribble for me? Give me a great big scribble. Give me your best, wildest, craziest. Go wild. Don't even look. Don't even. Just scribble. There's fantastic. All right. So what'd you draw? What do you think?
Elephant.
You see two eyes right there? That's just crazy. No, that's great. So she sees two eyes in it. Anyone else see anything in here? Anyone see anything? What do you think?
Like it's jumping.
An elephant, a mouse. All right. You know what? I saw the elephant right away too, because there's his trunk right there, and there's one tusk, and we'll give him a pair of eyes, and here's a big ear. So we're going to add a lot to this elephant back this way. And here's his mouth. So there you go. You drew an elephant, and I just found it for you. So, pretty cool. All right, let's say goodbye to the elephant. Now, we can do a couple more of these. Who would like to scribble? Would you like to scribble? Since you were so helpful before, I'll give you a chance to scribble. Go ahead. That's right. Don't even look. Look, just stay on the board, though. All right. Fantastic. Excellent. Thank you. What do you think you drew? Do you know? A what? Oh, okay. That would be pretty cool. I know the dinosaur. I actually wrote a book called I'm Looking for a Dinosaur, but sadly it's one of the few books that I wrote that never got on the market. Anyway, I kind of see a dinosaur in this, but let's see. I also see there's another guy with big eyes, and there's a big smile, and he's kind of got funny hair. So I think he's some kind of alien. Here, we'll give him pointy ears. An alien dinosaur, that's what he is. There you go. He comes from the planet Compignicus. I can't pronounce it. Only children can pronounce dinosaur names. That's the rule. Well, yeah, but that's kind of easy. That's because only adults shorten it to T-Rex, because you have to know how to say Tyrannosaurus. All right, so let's find one more scribbler. Let's go way in the back over here and find somebody way in the back.
Oh, that's a hawk. There's the hawk.
I'll figure it out. All right. So we'll come back up here. And here's her scribble. This is a wonderful scribble. And
Wait, I see like two eyes.
here's a pair of eyes right there.
Yeah, that's
Give
the
it.
same thing I see. It looks like a
Body parts. And there's some legs.
It looks like an ant.
I think it is an ant.
It
Do you
looks
guys
like
think
a
it's an ant?
ant.
Yeah, there was an ant So there's an ant for you. So the neat thing is that I like doing this scribble thing because you guys can all do this. I mean, anyone can scribble. Go home, get some paper, get some crayons, do a big scribble, and then look at it for a while. And eventually you're going to see something in that scribble, and then you draw that thing. And you're doing a couple things. You're using your imagination, and the more you use your imagination, the better you get at it. But you're drawing, and the more you draw, the better you get at drawing. So try that and have fun. So I said that I was going to read another book, and I also mentioned a Coatimundi and a capybara before. So before I wrote P is for Puffin and put them in there, I wrote a book. I wanted to write a book about a Coatimundi. Now, a Coatimundi is like it's like a raccoon. They live in South and Central America. They're really cute. They have really long tails that are kind of prehensile. They can actually grab things with their tails. So I was trying to think of a story to write about a Coatimundi, but I actually didn't come up with anything. So I ended up calling this book Untitled, which is a really, really dumb thing to call a book, especially if someone tries to Google your book Untitled. They're not going to find it. I can't believe my publisher let me call it this. Anyway, so this is a Coatimundi. His name is Carlos, and he's saying, "Wait, what? That's what he's calling this book?" And over here, that's Ignatz, and you'll find out more about him in a minute. "Hey, Ignatz, what time is it?" "I don't know, Carlos. He didn't draw me with a watch." So here they are. They're just kind of sitting around waiting and waiting and waiting. "When do you think he's going to get started?" "Beats me. I have no idea what we're doing here or what's going to happen." "Well, I think, hey, Ignatz, weren't you a porcupine on the last page?" "Yeah, now I'm a capybara." "I guess he changed his mind again. He probably got tired of drawing all the quills." "I'll bet something that is about to happen that will make us angry. He's done that in so many books." "Well, I'm not going to fall for it. Mostly, I'm just bored so far." "I wish he'd send us on some kind of adventure to battle monsters or dragons or aliens or something." "It would be fun if he did something different, like make us cowboys and set our story in the Old West." "I bet he'd come up with a title if he wrote something like that." "Or maybe he could send us on an undersea adventure. I've never seen a book about a Coatimundi and what are you again?" "I'm a capybara, world's largest rodent. He likes drawing lesser-known animals." "That would be cool. Knowing him, he'd throw us into a scene from somebody else's book. See what I mean? Yeah, he's kind of a show-off that way." "I wish we had a better writer. There are so many good ones. It would be great to be in one of their books." "I know, with so many fantastically talented illustrators, I'd love to be drawn by one of them." "I guess we're stuck in this book. He hardly writes a story. He just relies on characters like us to come up with the dialogue. I don't think he's written an entire paragraph in his life." "OMG, when is something going to happen?" "Did you really just say OMG?" "Sorry, he made me say it." "You know what? It's almost to the end of this book, and I don't think anything is going to happen." Dun, dun, dun. Well, I didn't see that coming. He does like an ending with a twist. I just hope he writes a sequel and gets us out of here. Hey, he could call it Untitled 2. Let's not give him any more ideas. So, that's my very strange book. Okay, we gotta do drawings.
I'm worried about the weather, so I want to move us along a little bit. Can everybody say a great big giant thank you to Timothy for doing? Thank and I have to say, you are an especially amazing audience, so quiet and so attentive. So thank you all.